Well, good morning. It is Vision Sunday, and I don't know whether your excitement can contain itself. I am genuinely excited. We have chosen to have our Vision Sunday at the beginning of the year. It's January, setting our course for the church for the year 2026. And it makes me wonder, what will St. John's look like in January 2027? There will be different people. There'll be other things going on. What will God have done in our hearts in this year? It's a whole year of our lives. We will have changed. God will have moved us. And this is what this morning is about for us as a church. What's in store for us here at St. John's. The next step of our journey is I believe, all about the church turning outwards. Paul says this is what he has done. Now, I have got a PowerPoint presentation, and oh, there we go. So, Paul says this is what he's done. He has turned outwards, and he says that from Jerusalem all the way round to Illyricum, he has fully preached the gospel. So, where are these places? If you have a look, Jerusalem is, I think we all know where Jerusalem is, the Eastern Mediterranean, in Judea, in modern-day Israel. And Illyricum is that area over there that you can see, which I think it's probably called Croatia now, just in there opposite Italy. And Paul says he has preached the gospel all the way around. Where has he been? Well, that is roughly where he has been. Apart from this verse, we have no record of him going to Illyricum, but because he says he's been there in this verse, we assume he has. We do know that he's been to practically all the other places. Well, we do know that he's been to all those other places that I've coloured in yellow. So he's been busy. He's been all the way around. And in that, he's been breaking new ground, bringing the gospel to those who have not yet heard or experienced it. So he's not been building on anyone else's foundations. He's been going fresh, breaking new ground. Paul describes himself in verse 16 as a minister of Christ Jesus to the Gentiles. And I want to focus in on that word minister, because the word there is liturgos, from which we get our word liturgy. But what does liturgos mean? Well, it means servant, but not servant in the style of a slave. It's more about somebody who is public-spirited, somebody who wants to volunteer themselves in the community. And in the ancient Roman Greco world, the world of the New Testament, there were 5 great patriotic liturgi. Voluntary services, things that a good citizen would want to do. And I want to go through them with you. So the first one, the 5 liturgi, is chorga. I'm going to be hopeless on all these Greek pronunciations. You can imagine how you can pronounce that. Chorega, or from which we get our word chorus. In other words, it's joining in, getting involved. We at St. John's Church, we're a community, aren't we? We're a family. We are not a series of events on Sundays. No, we're not. We're not a spectator sport like Pompey versus the Saints, which might be coming up sometime soon. We're not, I know that Ian and Sally are going to be, you going?
We're in the chorus, though.
You're in the chorus, okay. But we're not a spectator sport. We want everyone involved as a family, joining in. So the next liturgy is, you thought the first one was difficult to pronounce. It's gymnasiarchia. So it comes from you can hear the word gymnasium or gymnastics. It's the same, that's the root of the word. And it's the torchbearer. You imagine the Olympics, we always have this torch and somebody running around with it. It's that. That's what it is. Being somebody who's prepared to pick up the torch, step out, lead the way. It takes courage, doesn't it, to step out in front. We need to challenge ourselves, not to settle into being too comfortable. We want to stretch ourselves. How are you going to stretch yourself in 2026? Are you going to step out and do things that you've never done before? Take a lead. Pick up the torch. The third liturgy is hestiastatis, from which we get our word host. It's about hospitality, about sharing a meal. Isn't it surprising how much of Jesus' outreach ministry was based around food? He was forever eating with people. Now, we're an evangelical church, but my experience is when you mention the word evangelism, most Christians run for cover. We really don't, we're threatened by it. We don't like it. But if you mention having a social event, Skittles and fish and chips, for instance, everybody signs up. It's a sellout. Well, in Jesus' world, the two are practically the same. That might change your perspective on how we do evangelism. Okay. The next liturgy, architectura, from which we get the word architecture. You're getting the drift of all this. The Greek, it does play into English quite a lot. Sometimes a good, worthy citizen in a Greek town would pay for the building of an embassy or a public building. In other words, providing infrastructure for the community. And joy of joys, we have great opportunities here at St. John's to provide infrastructure. We need a new boiler. We need the reordering of the hub out there. We need the repair of the tower and the lounge. There are almost endless opportunities for liturgos here at St. John's to help provide for our building infrastructure. Finally, the fifth of the liturgi is triarch. Did anyone want to have a go at that one? Triarchia. Very good. And again, a worthy citizen in Athens or something might choose to pay for the maintenance of a ship for a year. And to me, this speaks of providing for going out. And how can you join in with the mission to go out, for St. John to go out? Well, join the Alpha Course team. Help with Little Doves. Invite friends to church or to Alpha, turning our focus outwards. I started by saying the next step of our journey at St. John's is all about the church turning outwards in mission. The whole movement of the New Testament was outwards to the outsider. Jesus said, I must proclaim the good news of the kingdom to other towns also, because that is why I was sent. Paul, as we've seen, was relentlessly outward, going all that way around the Mediterranean basin. Emil Brunner, Swiss theologian, said, the church exists by mission as fire exists by burning. In other words, there is no church if we're not going out. We don't exist just for sitting here. Our natural tendency is to want to be cozy, isn't it? You know, we want to be safe, but our calling is to something much more adventurous and risky, so that as a church, and that's all of us, we are called to step out in faith, put our trust in God, fix our eyes on Jesus, and go for it. And I wonder what that'll mean for you in 2026.